My name is Ian Walsh, and this is Masters of the Market. Joined with a true master of our market, Joe Evangelisti. Thank you, Joe, for coming on. I appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks, man, for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. So, Joe specializes. So, a couple things. Joe, for those watching that may or may not know Joe, he runs very successful businesses of his own. But something that we really attracted him to to maybe this interview or the show, or something I was very interested in learning more about, and a lot of people in this industry should be, is that you have had an ability to elevate people's games, other entrepreneurs to another level, and just the people I know, which doesn't even count the people I don't know, which is plenty of those that I'm sure you've had just the same impact on in their industry or their skill set, where you've taken an average business owner, and most people, let's be honest, most entrepreneurs will struggle in a life of entrepreneurialism for a very, very long time and maybe never come out of it, right? Best
Sure.
equation I could say, I was thinking about this the other day. It's my father, great guy, love him to death, but he has probably been a 25 handicap his entire life in golf. So not a bad golfer, right? You can play on the course, it's good to go, but he never did anything different. He never he never opened his mind to another level of the game. Now, he loves the game, he loves being in it, but quite frankly, as an entrepreneur, if you're trying to elevate to the next level, if you spend 25 years in a grind, what was that life worth for you? I mean, that's tens of thousands of hours you're spending. So people come to you, Joe, to understand that. And in Masters of the Market, we usually talk about like where the market has been, where it is, and where it's going. With a guy like you, you're going to have to, or not you, but other people have to learn to adapt their entire business, whether it's real estate or not, into adjusting markets. So can you tell me like what you've noticed in the types of people you've dealt with, the businesses you've dealt with, say from 2008 till, we had the crash and then it came up, and then into now, like how businesses adjust and how have you helped them adjust? And I've
Sure.
seen people come through this with you, so I know it works well.
Yeah, no, of course. And to go back to what you just said, I mean, don't think that we're not adjusting too. I think the best people in any business are always thinking 2 to 3 years in advance. You absolutely have to, especially in the real estate game. I mean, this is not, we're not selling widgets. It's not like, we can just sell X widget for X period of time. I mean, we're working in a real estate market, which is controlled by the market. So we actually constantly have to adapt and adjust and start to think about these things. Back in '08, what was the big difference? The big difference was that not everyone and their brother was a wholesaler, right? There was no wholesalers. If there was a wholesaler, I mean, I had a few friends that were wholesalers. They didn't even call themselves that. There wasn't even a brand or a term for that yet, right? So
Just new. Yeah.
I think that's probably a big adjustment in our market since then. And a lot of people have made a lot of money off of being a wholesaler in the last 10 years, which is a great thing. I think you're already starting to see that start to choke down a little bit because everyone's getting into that market. Everyone is a quote unquote real estate investor, right? But and I'm not taking anything away from those people because our team does it just as well. But the fact is that I think you're going to see a lot of constraints on that as the market starts to go down because people are going to have to work on better deal structure. They're going to have to be able to sell deals to rehabbers. There's going to be less rehabbers with money. There's going to be a lot less cash investors in the market as the market starts to go down. Do I see a gigantic crash happening on the horizon? No, I don't think it's going to be like '07, '08. Back in the day when I first got into the business. I think it's going to slowly start to shave down, like we expect it to. I mean, there's market cycles, and we're going to head into one. My hope is that it takes another year and a half to start to see that, but it could be sooner. We all have to adapt and adjust. And I think that a lot of that has to do with hedging your risk, paying attention to exit strategies. If you're in the rehab game, making sure that you don't have too much inventory that you can't move. If you're in the wholesale game, making sure you're not growing a gigantic team and spending so much money on, marketing and things like that you're not going to be able to adjust to when the market changes. There's going to have to be some ways to hedge your bets over the next couple of years. And, people just have to be prepared for that. But, it's coming, right?
Yeah,
I think
it's
we all
coming.
know it's coming.
Right. I mean, I always hate to be, unfortunately, I'm in the business of underwriting, and the world's going to end as a lender always, right? That's my world.
Sure.
But it is, and I guess the thing is this, like, it's easy to make money in this market, right? It is. So, like,
Absolutely.
so my thought though is like, how much of that money are you going to hold through the cycle? Like, I don't really care about how much I'm making. I mean, I always care about how much I'm making. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm not trying to push margins beyond
Yeah.
capacity at this moment. I'm looking at this saying, I got to make sure I take this money in this business into the next cycle. That's my mindset right now. It's not
Yep.
push margins to see how high we can get the top of the market, because you can't get caught there. You can't be in that position. So
Yep.
when you guys have, one of your, I want to dive into some of the stuff you do with the mentorships and so forth, because I think that stuff is
Hmm.
so interesting. Can you give me like a rundown of, like, I don't know, I know you guys just had one a few weeks ago in this market. What is that like? What's the structure of it? You guys come in on a Friday. Walk me through it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so really it's a 2-day intensive. I mean, we spend 48 hours straight with each other. Usually it starts at 8:30 on a Wednesday. This next event's going to be Thursday, Friday, but normally it's Wednesday, Thursday. Start 8:30 a.m. We work straight through till about 6 p.m. Almost nonstop. We have a lunch and we eat lunch and we work right through it. Then we'll go to a really nice dinner that first night, generally some kind of steakhouse, and then like literally some of the best networking and some of the work through sessions are at the steakhouse because you're around the guys, you're eating, you're talking about business, you're starting to really loosen up a little bit. You get a lot of good stuff out of that dinner. Next morning we're back at it by 9 o'clock, same exact schedule all the way through till about 5, and then we do dinner again. So we're really together the entire 2 days and every minute of every day, and it's about opening up, talking about the real life, struggles in your business, talking about what your challenges are, being honest about them, adapting to them, and then figuring out what are the solutions to these things that we need to fix. The nice thing is, it's not just me speaking at the group, right? It's 7 to 10 folks that are in a room, and a lot of them are dealing with the same challenges or have already dealt with those same challenges. So when you're in that room and you're saying, "Hey, this is my challenge," and the guy across the table from you who's doing 6 figures a month just dealt with that challenge 6 months ago. He knows the exact solution. He knows exactly how to do it. He just handled it, and he hands you the blueprint, right? It's proximity power, right? It's not just go to the room and hang out with Joe Evangelisti. It's the room that I curate that I know is going to help that person get to that next level because they're around people that have been through those levels, and that's what makes it special.
So I'm a firm believer in that concept. I was just talking the other week, or actually Friday, to a guy about what I consider like active learning. I think it's the new future of learning in general. Like people, I got no problem with books. I know books are great, but to me, a book is not information that can come back and forth at you. It's dead information. Not dead in the sense
Sure.
that you can't benefit, but it's not reciprocating information that you can grow with. So I've always been a huge believer in what they call them now. They call them online message boards and forums and so forth. And the reason I believe in those is because of the concept of what they do. And the concept of what they do is if you know how to filter people correctly, you can get to some of the greatest minds on the planet and interact with them instantly, which is to me active learning. So what you're proposing to people, and therefore when you learn how to do active learning and you learn how to engage with that, you're shaving time and hours and money lost. So if I can sit at your table in California and have that conversation with somebody across from the table, that could save me 6 months and $500,000 by having a conversation. Like, I mean, you can't put a number on that, right? I mean, what is the number? I don't know, but it could be tremendous, and that's a form of active learning that I find a lot of value in, because, quite frankly, I think that's the future of this kind of stuff, or what I was talking, the future of learning.
I always tell people, they pay us 5,000 for this event, and we attack problems that they don't even know that they have yet. We all have the same problems. The question is, when are they going to figure out what the problems are, and how quickly are they going to solve them, right? So this investment is for them to solve the problems that they don't even know that they have quicker. And we're running into challenges and we're hitting roadblocks, but we don't even know what the challenges and roadblocks are until we get into a table or to a room where all these people who are more successful than us have been there and they have done it. So you're in this growth mode, and when you're in this growth mode, you're going to hit all these kind of stumbles on the way up, and you don't even know where those glass ceilings are going to be until you smack into them, right? But when you're sitting around a table with people who've hit those glass ceilings time and time and time again, and I can sit there and look at that trajectory that you're on and say, you know what, I know exactly where you're heading, and this is what's going to happen when you get there. Let me keep that from happening by telling you this, right? Those little tidbits, those little things, sometimes they shave 6 months, like you just said. Sometimes they shave 5 years. Depending on the proximity and who you're going to hang around with and how quickly you want to learn, that's going to that's going to help you ultimately depend on how quick you learn, how fast your business grows, and how well you do.
I love that concept, man. I really do. I think what you're doing is great, Joe. I know you're extremely talented at it. So if I want to go to this event, perhaps next week or what have you, how do I get in touch with you, Joe?
Yeah, basically the best way to do it is you're going to put this on Facebook. You know, people can friend me, message me, send me a request. Let's chat. You know, like to just figure out what's going on with your business. What are your challenges right now? What are your wins recently? And, you know, we'll just start the conversation because after that, we get on the phone and we talk about your business, see where you're at.
Perfect, guys. I would, for what it's worth, hard money bankers would approve Joe on this one because if you're trying to grow your business to the next level, or you're stuck in a spot like and you're local, especially if you're local. I guess you don't have to be local for the California one, but a lot of people seeing this will be local. I mean, there's a guy in your backyard that, I mean, you can individually call me after this and ask, you know, the people that you've touched and the people's businesses that you've had a direct impact on, because I'm not lying. I'm not making this up on tape. Like, these are people that over the last 10 years, I was literally friends with them. Just have, you know, they were not a bad business, I guess, but all of a sudden it's been in the last several years, these guys, and every one of them, I said, hey, what happened? What happened? Joe happened. Joe happened. So I don't know. There's something special going on there. And Joe, I appreciate your time, man. And California it is.
Ian, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.